obviously the continent is bleeding. The continent is bleeding. As we meet here tonight, a few days ago, there was a coup d'etat in the Sudan, reversing the hopes of the people that we were on the path for democracy in the Sudan. U.S. sanctions have just been lifted. Sudan has just been removed from the countries that sponsor terrorism. Now what happened? All of these are on the way to be, Sudan is on the path once again to dictatorship and oppression. South Sudan is in serious war with itself for 8 years out of 10 years of its independence. Ethiopia is at war with itself. When you go to Uganda and Eritrea, the leaders do not want to surrender leadership. You go to, there's the rise of radical Islam. And if you go to northern Nigeria, you go to Mozambique, and many areas. So, and of course, the Western powers have taken the opportunity not to really bring real peace to the African continent. Because if there's a real peace and if there are the right leaders in the African continent, then of course that, if you had somebody like late Magufuli, then it will prevent them from exploiting our resources. And therefore the situation of a chaotic Africa is actually what many in the West and the East, wanted they want to maintain the status quo. But we, of course, some of those who are lucky to come to the West, many years of being here out of all this comfort, our heart bleeds for Africa. And we think that solution must come from within us. And that's why our brother, Attorney Henry Ongeri, has made that bold decision to go back to Africa and bring that solution that we are yearning for. And if we can bring a change in Nyamira, then the change will come to Kenya. And from Nyamira, we are hoping that he will move to Nairobi, to the State House. And of course, when he controls the State House in Nairobi, he will have a voice and influence in the African Union. And then he will now have influence in the entire African continent. So what we are doing here tonight is history in the making. It is not something that will end here, but it's a journey that will encourage most of us to look backward to Africa, to be able to change the situation Africa is in today. I've known my older brother for over 20-something years. And probably in the state of Minnesota, there are probably the two of us who have known him the longest. Just his wife, Dorothy, and I. And I've known him to be a tough community organizer, a political organizer, and a business organizer, a true Pan-African activist, a peace mediator, and an advocate for the voiceless. He is truly a champion for the rights of women and other disadvantaged groups, and of course, a defender of human rights. Henry and I started when we organized the coalition of Pan-African Minnesotans, SIPA, an organization that was meant to bring Africans together and empower Africans, especially many who had come here and looking for opportunities. Employment was an issue due to this discrimination that exists in this country and racism. Even doors of opportunities were very slim. And that's when we decided that the Coalition for Pan-African Minnesotans was the organization to fight for African rights here. And then he didn't end there. Of course, he went to establish PABA, Pan-African Business Alliance. Also, bringing African businesses together so they can network with each other and empower themselves and seek for resources possible. Most of you might remember the big event that was put together at the Mall of America. So that was a showcase of Africa. And of course, not only working to develop Africans and fight for Africans, but also he was involved in the American political system. I remember when he and I worked together during the Paul Wellstone campaign, when his wife Dorothy was still pregnant with the first son. Unfortunately, a few weeks before the election, late Paul Wellstone died. But we had established connections with many who became the powerhouse here in Minnesota, people like Keith Allison, and many others. And with this, he has built a resume, a necessary resume, as a lawyer, as a community and political organizer and business organizer, as somebody who has the heart for public service, and of course a human rights defender. We believe that he is the right person Nyamira currently needs to rescue the people of Nyamira and to return honor and dignity once again to that county, and to restore hope and dignity to many who felt that there was no hope for them, to empower women and to bring the necessary education to the youth and to empower them, to show them that the brighter Nyamira lies in the hands of their generation. So with those few words, my friends,